Hi folks, how you doing? Tips and advice for COVID-19. I'm Andrew Finlay. I'm a nutritional therapist at Wildview Retreat, and I speak from experience because we've just had COVID, and I have to tell you, it is not nice, and you don't want to get it. And if you do get it, you want to be doing everything in your power to limit the impact of it on you and your family and friends. So I have some tips and some advice for everybody, really. And I'm hoping that this next short video will give you some really good, helpful information from somebody who is a qualified nutritional therapist. I don't have any affiliation with any other organizations, so I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to get some information out there to help people when I come from a position of experience, having just got over COVID. As some of you will know, Erika and I were desperately hoping to spend our Christmas in Portugal for the first time together in over a year. Obviously, we've had our visa and Brexit woes, which I won't bore you about, won't bore you with now. But I ended up coming back after a few days there just to be with Erika in London, so we weren't apart. And we had done pretty much everything right. We only went out once, and that was on Christmas Eve, and that was to get some last minute sort of food grocery bits and pieces for our Christmas dinner. And we think that's when it must have happened, in a pretty busy supermarket, when everyone was rushing pre-Brexit to try and grab whatever they could grab with this sort of, I mean, in London there was nothing in the supermarkets in terms of like groceries, and so people were sort of starting to panic buy again, unfortunately. So they were busy, the shops were, and we think that's what happened. Erika started to develop the dry cough on Boxing Day. We decided to be honest with you, what happened was we thought, this isn't it. And I think everyone who's had it initially, they're thinking, oh no, I don't think I've got it, because it doesn't seem too bad. And then after a day or two, like, actually this seems like what it is, the symptoms. So we decided to go, both of us, for the drive-in test. And we were actually quite shocked that we'd got it, just because we've been very careful. But then again, you think about it, we've been in Portugal, the chance of getting it were pretty low, in the middle of a mountain, middle of nowhere, very low population density, very low infection rates compared to everywhere else in the world. Of course, coming to central London, the chances of you getting it are sadly pretty high, unless you stay indoors constantly, which is what we really should be doing now. And if you do have to go out, wearing gloves and a mask. And I can't advocate that enough, actually. Just be really careful, because you do not want to get COVID-19. There was a part of me before, it's like, you get it to develop the antibodies, develop immunity, yes. But the problem is it's quite indiscriminate in terms of the impact. Nobody really knows whether you're going to be someone who fares well, or whether you really suffer. You get 70-year-old, 80-year-old men and women who get it and asymptomatic and don't have any problems, but then you get 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds who really struggling and can die. And so anyway, Erika tested positive, I tested negative. So obviously, then over a period of 2 or 3 days, I then caught it from her. So I was about 4 or 5 days behind her in terms of our symptom progression. And she sort of went through 3 waves of it. I went through 1 wave. So basically, I fought it off pretty quickly. Within 4 days, when I got it, within 4 days, I was well again. Erika started to feel better after about a week, but then 2 days later, she came down really heavily with it. And so for me, what I had was, I didn't really have a dry cough. I had intense headache for about 36 hours, which would then break out into a fever. But I didn't think it was anything that was not manageable for me. I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. It's like a bad flu. I'm all right. And then after 3 or 4 days, I was, fighting it off, and I was, pretty much better. I was doing a whole load of these things, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, just to improve my chance of fighting it off. Erika, being, half my size, perhaps a bit more vulnerable in that degree, perhaps not as strong physically, maybe, I don't know. She came like down with it really badly in the second wave, and she had really bad nausea, really bad fever. She was struggling to drink and eat, which was obviously not helping, and she had this terrible dry cough. And I'll be honest with you, on about day 10 or 11, I was starting to really quite worry. I was we called 111 because I wanted to know what to do. I was a bit worried. Obviously didn't want to um, compromise the emergency services. I didn't think we got to that point, but I don't think we're that far off. Then fortunately, she started to improve, but it's been really, really slow, gradual improvement. Really slow, not like a flu where you're ill for a few days and then you pretty quickly jump back to your feet. She's still struggling now. I don't know if you can hear her coughing. But anyway, it is serious, and if you do get it, then there's so many things that you should be doing to help yourself, and there's so many things that you could be doing before you get it, of course, which you'll have heard all about me talking about building up your immunity beforehand, and I just think it's never been more important to take care of yourself, and you need to take it seriously. So I'm just going to run through a couple of things here to do. Start now and start for the rest of your life to build up your immunity and reduce your vulnerability to it. Because, okay, I'm not saying that what I've done in terms of my preventative healthcare categorically has reduced my the impact of it on me compared to somebody else, because we do know it's indiscriminate and that it can affect people in different ways. But surely it can't be a bad thing to build up your immunity. And I'm pretty convinced that over the last 6 or 7 years, while I've been taking this stuff really seriously, that it's the reason why I kind of fought it off after 3 or 4 days, because I do concentrate on making sure I have the right plant-based and meat-based proteins every day. I do concentrate on having a juice every day and getting my micronutrients in. I do concentrate on getting my vitamin D3 in 3,000 IU a day. I do, all these things I've been doing, I wouldn't say religiously like an extremist, but it's become part of my sort of daily routine, like the same way you'd have a shower every day or go to the toilet or have coffee or whatever it is you do. These are routine steps that I do every day, and it's become so normal for me now that it's not an effort. It's like we don't go on a diet, because every day is your diet and that's what you do. So it's about getting these routine steps in place and just doing it forever. And it only takes, a few days for it to become a bit of a routine and a habit. So, okay, so what are these things? Well, you'll hear me all the time talking about getting your fruits, vegetables, and plant-based proteins and fats into your diet every day. Now, it's quite difficult to be eating all that stuff, all these different things at different times. So, the simplest way, as we all know, folks, is a smoothie. I hope that you have all moved away from buying £3 little snack bags of Brazil nuts or almonds from Tesco Metro or whatever, and you're going into now buying, organic kilo bags, and you put these in the cupboard, but then you're stocking up on your Kilner jars. These are walnuts down here, broken up Brazil nuts, almonds, cashew nuts, all of that sort of stuff, and you stick a handful of mixed nuts and seeds into your NutriBullet every day, and you blend it up with prunes, with chopped up pineapple, melon, frozen berries, and you add some plant-based milk, like a hemp milk or a pea milk or an oat milk, and you just down it, get it in. It's so important because that is your micronutrient hit, which is going to give you the nutrients that will help build your immune system and fight off any viral or bacterial infections. Also, the proteins and the amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, they're all contained within these things, and you need those to develop your antibodies and your immunoglobulins, which will fight off infections. So your protein is really, really important. And if you're a vegan, you must, or a vegetarian, you must make sure that you're getting the right plant-based proteins in. And personally, I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, but I probably have meat once or twice a week. And the rest of the time, I'm concentrating on making sure I'm having enough plant-based proteins. So important. Okay, the next thing I want to mention is really, really important. It's a really good quality multivitamin. Now, I'm not talking about the ones you buy in Sainsbury's or Boots or Superdrug. You know what they are. Don't bother with them. Or Vitabotics or anything like that. If you know anything about the dosages, you'll look at the back of the back of the kind of dosage list of the different nutrients, and you'll know that the amount of the vitamins in those are really, really low, and they're not worth taking. It's worth spending an extra 10, 15 pounds per every couple of months on something really good quality. We're talking about Biocare, Viridian, Life Extension. There's so many good ones, and all you need to do is go online and have a look at the decent quality health stores and buy from them. If you buy from them, you're not only helping your local high street health store, but you're also getting a good quality supplement. So an excellent quality multivitamin. This is Life Extension. I really like these. These are really high dose. And the other thing to remember is that there are certain nutrients, essential nutrients in a multivitamin that there aren't enough of, period. Even if you have the best quality multivitamin and mineral, you'll still need to have additional of those and for immunity. And this is what they are. So vitamin C, okay, this is called C1000. 1,000 because it's 1,000 milligrams, so a gram. Now, typically, you want to be taking at least 1 gram a day, 1 gram of vitamin C, and you want it to be like this because typically these are timed release. You want to be looking for a timed release one because our body can only really absorb about 300 milligrams of vitamin C at a time. So anything else in higher dose, then you tend to just excrete it. So ideally, what you want to be doing is having at least 1 or 2 grams a day. Now, if you are trying to ensure that you reduce the risk of infection, or even once you have the infection, this should go up to about 10 grams a day. I know that sounds a lot, but you'll never ever become intoxicated with vitamin C. Once your body's had enough of it and used enough of it, it'll just eliminate it because it's a water-soluble vitamin. It doesn't build up, okay? So, and what does it do? Well, it's a major antioxidant. And it's a really unstable antioxidant, and that's a good thing because it breaks off its molecules and attaches to the free radicals, or the bad things in your body, grabs them and eliminates them, okay? So it's super, super important antioxidant, and you should be getting into the habit of having, a couple of grams of vitamin C every day, even if you're not ill, as a preventative measure. And then if you do get sick, then up to 10 grams a day. We were having one of these every hour, 10 for the 10 hours of the day. Well, I was anyway. Erika wasn't quite as disciplined, but I won't get into that. The next thing, we all know vitamin D3, many different forms, capsule form, tablet form, or liposomal liquid form. I like the liposomal form. You just spray it on the tongue. A bit more expensive, doesn't last as long, but it's just getting straight into my system in that way. It's more highly absorbed. And I tend to go for the one D3 that comes with K2, and the reason why we would recommend that one, D3 plus K2 in the formula form, is because if you're taking more vitamin D, then you're going to be taking more calcium out of circulation, and potentially it's going to be potentially being used to calcify areas of the body. And you don't want it to be directed to the arteries, to calcify the arteries, because we all know that leads to atherosclerosis and potentially heart disease. So ideally, you want to be calcifying the bones, and anything extra is going towards immunity, which is one of the key areas of vitamin D function. So I like to take vitamin D3 with K2 so that it doesn't get directed to the arteries, it gets directed to the bones. And the rest of it is obviously important for the immune function. I really, really highly recommend everyone goes and gets a £30, €30 vitamin D blood test. It is one of the best things that you could do for your health. There's so many online ones now. It's a finger prick test that you just get it in the post, finger prick, put it on the paper, you send it off, and it'll tell you your vitamin D levels. You want to be up around 80, 90, 100 plus micromoles per litre. I have a vitamin D absorption deficiency because of my genetics, so I'm typically around about 30, which is deficient. It's the reason why I always had upper respiratory tract infection as a child. I had recurring tonsillitis, and it's the reason why I haven't had upper respiratory tract infection for 6 years because I've been taking vitamin D3 religiously, apart from when I got COVID, but I fought it off within 3 or 4 days. So I do like to think, I mean, I can from a qualified experience viewpoint, I can categorically say that my high dose vitamin D supplementation has kept my blood levels up and helped me fight off this infection. Because I don't think, I'm not going to stop myself from getting it unless I don't go out and, mask up and gloves and everything. If you get it, you are going to get it. You want to have the most robust immune system possible. So protein, multivitamins, vitamin C, high dose, vitamin D3, check your blood levels first because it's a fat soluble vitamin. You don't want to have too high, but it's very, very rare to get intoxicated with vitamin D3. Go with a vitamin D with K2. This is Better You. They're everywhere now. You can get them in Holland Barrett or anywhere, and even in the local supermarkets, I think, and I really like that brand. The next thing is zinc. You want to check that your multivitamin has enough zinc, and I would recommend about 50 milligrams. So this one actually has about 50 in anyway, so that's probably enough zinc. You don't want too much, but you can also add a bit more. And why is that important? Because it's also critically important for helping vitamin C to fight off any infections, immune system. So helping with your immune system. So this form is zinc piconate. You can also have zinc citrate, which is the more absorbable forms. Both of these are fine. This is Now Foods. I really like this brand. Again, the vitamin C one here was Now Foods. And you'll notice you won't see these in Sainsbury's or Holland Barrett. You'll see them in reputable high street local health stores. So go there, shop there, support them. The next thing I'm going to say is N-acetylcysteine. Okay, cysteine is one of our amino acids. Now, if you remember, amino acids are the building blocks of protein. We have lots of them: tyrosine, tryptophan, methionine, cysteine. And now cysteine is a conditional essential amino acid, which basically means is that you can sometimes not have enough of it if you're not getting enough methionine. You really need cysteine. And the reason why you need it is because it ends up creating glutathione, which is our master antioxidant, which helps you fight off everything. So some of us don't have enough glutathione in the blood. I'm one of those ones because I have a genetic methylation issue, which I won't speak about now. But basically, I don't produce enough of it because I have errors on my genes that cause blockages, which prevents it being metabolized from cysteine into glutathione. So I regularly take 600 milligrams of N-acetylcysteine. It's a bioavailable form of cysteine. And I do that for my methylation to reduce my homocysteine. But actually, not only does it help you produce glutathione, which is your master antioxidant, which is going to help fight off viral infection, but also it works as an expectorant, which helps reduce and get rid of any mucus and liquefies it and gets rid of it, which is a lot of what those cough medicines do. So N-acetylcysteine, folks, for COVID is really, really important. And then a couple of other really basic ones, which I'm sure you're aware of. Get that smoothie in every day, plants and vegetables as much as possible, making sure you're having enough protein as well. Manuka honey, it is expensive, but it's worth it. And 2 or 3 hot teas with lemon, and I really like this because I'm a bit lazy. It's frozen chopped up ginger I get from Sainsbury's. Keep it in the freezer. I put a large dessert spoon of that in with my hot lemon and ginger every day, and my Manuka honey. And again, that was incredibly helpful for me, and it is getting Erika's cough better. And I found that has been brilliant. And I've managed to get over the COVID, pretty quickly. We're still continuing with this strategy for Erika, and she's slowly improving. We're now, I'd say 2 weeks in, and she's slowly improving. But what I just want to say is that, it is serious. It is something that you want to do everything in your power to prevent yourself from getting it, but also when you do get it, to make sure you have the most preventative health kind of systems built up as strongly as possible. So doing everything in your power to build up your strength and your immunity. And by doing a lot of these things on a daily basis, not just like, oh, I can remember to do it today or next week, every day, make it a habit, make it a routine. This stuff ain't take you 5 minutes each day. Same as, having a shave, or, well, however long it takes to have a shave. I don't have one very often, but you know what I mean. So, take this stuff seriously, folks. And whilst we're on it, I was just going to mention that we had launched our retreat dates for this year on the 1st of January. Clearly, when we planned to do that, we weren't expecting this variant to kick off and cause all the problems that it's caused. So it's kind of delayed our kind of, I guess, rollout of all of that. So we're considering, and we probably over the next couple of weeks, we'll make a decision to start our retreats in May now. For anyone who has booked to April, we'll be moving you to the May retreats, because we just feel that what's the point in forcing and pushing the time to go away traveling when people are just quite understandably not willing to go and shouldn't go. We need to wait until all this calms down. So we're probably going to start in May once the vaccines have taken effect, and once things calm down a little bit. So I'm going to be doing some more videos because I think it's helpful, and it's something that I can do that will benefit other people. They're all free. There's no cost or fee involved. I'm not expecting anything for it. I just, it's more kind of also for my own sanity. I've spent 6 years trying to develop a dream, and at the point where we're just about almost got to it, it was taken away in terms of, not being able to run the business, and it's just been devastating. But this is what I'm good at, which is giving nutrition advice. And so I'd like to think that over the next few months, I'll continue to do these little videos, and hopefully it'll help a few people. Anyway, if you have any questions on any of this, or any question about anything, just fire away. I will, and if I don't know the answer, I will go and find out and get back to you. If you like the video, please comment, please share, obviously, if it's beneficial to other people. And don't forget, N-acetylcysteine, vitamin C, vitamin D3, zinc, good quality multivitamin, getting the right plant-based nutrients into your body. It's so important, folks. Stay free of processed foods. Try and limit your alcohol. Whole January thing for me is I do dry every month, every day, because it's been 3 years now since I don't drink alcohol, and I think it's had a tremendous impact on my health. I got COVID, but I got rid of it after a few days. So all these little things that you can do will really, really help you. All right, thanks for listening, and wishing you all well. Take care.